Today, we talk about CFMSR auditing. In order to ensure that all suppliers of own brand products for Coles meet the required standards for food safety and quality, regular audits are conducted against the Coles Food Manufacturing Supplier Requirements (CFMSR) document. These audits take place at sites where own brand products are manufactured, packed, stored, or transported. The degree of compliance to each section of the CFMSR is determined during these audits. There are several different types of audits that may be conducted, each with their own specific outcome. The pre-approval visit reviews the basic food safety information and hygiene controls that are expected of a supplier before they are allowed to produce own brand products. A first audit is the initial audit against all requirements of the CFMSR and is used to establish a baseline for the supply. Re-audits are conducted once the supplier site is approved, with the frequency of these audits determined by the supplier's audit score. Audit frequencies vary depending on the type of audit. Pre-approval visits can be undertaken at any stage during the product development phase, but must be completed before the supplier can produce own brand products for Coles stores. First audits are conducted within 3 months of the supplier producing own brand products, and re-audits are conducted no later than 12 months from the date of the CFMSR audit, or sooner depending on the supplier's audit score. Overall, the CFMSR audit process is in place to ensure that all own brand products sold by Coles meet the necessary standards for food safety and quality, and that suppliers are held accountable for maintaining these standards. Coles Food Manufacturing Supplier Requirements (CFMSR) is a document that outlines the food safety and quality standards that suppliers must meet when producing own brand products for Coles supermarkets. This document includes sections on supplier requirements, audit methodologies, and frequency of audits. New suppliers will be required to undertake a first audit of all the requirements of the CFMSR within 3 months of commencing production of own brand products. Once approved, existing suppliers will be invited to undergo regular re-audits according to the frequency dictated by their audit score. There are several different types of audits, including pre-approval visits, first audits, and re-audits. The pre-approval visit reviews the basic food safety information and hygiene controls that are expected of a supplier to continue to progress product development. First audits are conducted to establish a baseline against the requirements of the CFMSR. Re-audits are conducted once the supplier site is approved, according to the frequency dictated by the audit score. The audit methodology includes a review of previous audit findings, hack plan review, traceability exercise, site review, review of traceability exercise, and mass balance exercise. The site review will be a minimum of 70% of the entire time spent at the supplier site, and it will include a review of cleaning and sanitation activities, pre-operational inspections, monitoring of CCPS/QCP, factory documentation, instructions, records, etc. To summarize, CFMSR is a set of guidelines that Coles uses to ensure that food products manufactured by suppliers meet the required standards in terms of food safety and quality. The document includes detailed information on the requirements, audit methodologies, and frequency of audits that suppliers must comply with. It also includes a scoring system that is used to measure the performance, improvement, and approval status of the supply. The Coles Food Manufacturing Supplier Requirements (CFMSR) document outlines the requirements for regular audits to ensure compliance with food safety and hygiene standards. The audit process applies to suppliers of own brand products and includes 3 types of audits: pre-approval visits, first audits, and re-audits. The pre-approval visit is conducted to review basic food safety information and hygiene controls to ensure that suppliers can continue to progress product development. The first audit establishes a baseline against the requirements of the CFMSR, and non-conformances can be raised if requirements are not met. Re-audits are conducted to measure the performance and improvement of the supplier, with the frequency determined by the audit score. The audit methodology includes several key steps, such as the review of hacked plans, a traceability exercise, a site review, and a mass balance exercise. The auditor will physically follow the production process, assess the infrastructure of the site, and review factory documentation, instructions, and records. If potential critical non-conformances are detected during the audit, the auditor will contact the product technologist or Coles supplier management team to agree on next steps. In response to any non-conformances identified during the audit, suppliers are required to provide a corrective action plan. Evidence of non-conformance action can be uploaded to the Coles Fusion website, and non-conformances must be closed out within specified timeframes. In some cases, proposed corrective actions may be rejected if they are deemed unsatisfactory, and an escalation process may be initiated. Additionally, verification of long-term actions may be required to close out non-conformances. The overall goal of the audit process is to ensure that the supplier's products and processes meet the necessary food safety and quality standards to protect consumers and maintain the integrity of the Coles brand. This helps to ensure that customers can trust and have confidence in the products that are sold under the Coles brand. In the Coles Food Manufacturing Supplier Requirements (CFMSR) document, there are 4 classifications for areas of a site and the controls required in those areas: base, medium, high, and aspiration. The classifications are determined based on the risks associated with different types of food manufacturing and products. Each element of the CFMSR has been given one of these classifications to ensure that the requirements for some sectors of the industry are not overly burdensome for other sectors. The base classification applies to areas where raw materials, packaging, and finished products are handled and or stored as fully enclosed or packaged. These requirements apply to all manufacturing packing sites, regardless of the product or process. If specific parts of the site are operated at medium or high standards, these areas must also comply with all the base requirements. An example of a base area would be an ingredients warehouse, where the ingredients are sealed from contaminants. The medium classification is applicable to products that support the growth of microorganisms, but have a further kill step applied by the consumer, such as raw meat and poultry, or for products which do not support the growth of pathogens either due to pH control or water activity. These requirements specifically apply to areas of the site where food is open or exposed to contamination, therefore increasing the risk in these areas. Associated areas or processes, such as utensil washing/storage, deboxing, handling food contact packaging, equipment used for filling containers, etc., shall also be considered medium areas, except for fresh produce. The elements classified as medium shall be applicable in addition to all relevant base requirements. Examples of medium areas would be the area used for cutting and packing of fresh meat, or the production line for a bakery. The high classification is applicable to products that support the growth of microorganisms and do not have a further kill step applied by the consumer, such as ready-to-eat chilled foods. These requirements specifically apply to areas of the site where food is open or exposed to contamination, therefore increasing the risk in these areas. The elements classified as high shall be applicable in addition to all relevant base and median requirements. The aspiration classification is for new and emerging technologies or industry best practice that Coles would like to see suppliers implement in the future. These requirements are not mandatory, but Coles encourages suppliers to adopt them. The CFMSR also allows for suppliers to undertake a risk assessment to determine the level of compliance and control, and guidance on the method of risk assessment expected is given in the appendices. Overall, the goal of these classifications and risk assessments is to ensure that the supplier's products and processes meet the necessary food safety and quality standards to protect consumers and maintain the integrity of the Coles brand. Next video will be on mainment and system control. Stay tuned with until then. Bye from Shosh.